But there are a number of Chinese companies that have operations in Ireland. Wuxi, for example, is building a very substantial plant not too far from the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, but nothing on the scale of the kind of investment that we'd have from US-based companies. So I don't see that dramatically changing.
Okay, that's very interesting. You don't see it dramatic. Why do you think then that, I mean, again, on a very packed agenda, the Chinese Prime Minister chose to come and speak to you and see what's going on in the Republic of Ireland? What is it you think he was doing? Was it a fact-finding mission?
Well, look, I suppose I can't speak for the Premier of China. I can't speak for the Irish government, and we were certainly very happy to receive the visit. One of only a small number of EU countries that the Prime Minister, Premier Li, has visited, and we're keen to develop our economic relations, our people-to-people contact, particularly around education and cultural exchange, and to work together where we can on an international stage. But of course, we're not blind to some of the issues that we need to be concerned about, and there are issues around fair competition, and those are issues between the EU and China, and we believe in fair competition on a level playing field, and also security concerns as well.
I think you're absolutely spot on to be cautious. I was speaking to Mr. Dombrovskis, amongst other commissioners, one of three we've spoken to here in Davos as well. And I just can't help thinking something's brewing because, of course, the Europeans are trying to grow their new energies, trying to grow their EV, trying to grow their battery as well. And at the same time, when the Chinese are potentially going to start flooding the European markets as well. Do you fear we're in the kind of the little bit before we get real conflict between Europe and China on a trade front?
Well, look, I hope that doesn't happen. You know, among the things that China has been able to do in the past few decades is to reduce the price of important goods that we use and we purchase as consumers. Just take one small example, solar panels, huge numbers being made in China at a much more affordable cost that has allowed us to embrace that form of renewable energy. What I am more concerned about is Europe not making sure that it's competitive itself, and we need to make sure that we invest in new technologies, that we become the leaders when it comes to a new technology being developed, that there is a level playing field when it comes to trade, and also that we have that open strategic autonomy, that we aren't overly reliant on other parts of the world for essential items and goods that we need. And we saw in the pandemic how dependent we were on China for things like face masks, for example, and PPE. We saw from the Russian invasion of Ukraine how dependent we were on Russia for gas. We know we're over-dependent on the US when it comes to defence and security. So Europe, as part of our ambition to embrace open strategic autonomy, means being able to do more things for ourselves, but also remaining open to the world and being part of a multilateral system of fair and free trade.
Taoiseach, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have spoken to so many business leaders here, and I'm asking them all the time, what do we need to do in Europe to get better innovation, to get better at protecting our young companies to get to scale, to move quicker, compared with the IRA, for instance, as well in the States. And certain thematics come back time and time again. Let's ditch the regulation. Let's speed up on permitting. Let's not have different rules country by country. Why is it in Europe and the Eurozone we are still so slow, and we've still got all these same problems, all these brilliant companies want really some form of help on?
Look, I definitely don't think we should ditch regulation, and you know, among the most highly regulated industries, finance, for example, healthcare, very highly regulated, but also very highly innovative. I think access to finance is really important. You know, I think it's a real shame that very often start-up and scale-up Irish companies don't go to London or Frankfurt or Paris for finance. They have to go to the United States. That's certainly an issue. And they're really important that we get it right in our education institutions as well, and have the right courses and have the right subjects being studied for the future. And one thing we really have to examine now is to what extent AI is going to change the world of work. And we need to make sure that we're training people for the jobs of the future, not just the jobs of today. Yeah, but the problem I have, and I keep asking all these brilliant people in AI, is, well, what are those jobs if AI is going to be so smart, it's going to take the jobs away? What are the new jobs that are going to come in instead? Yeah, it's a great question. And I don't get many answers. Isn't that one of the things We'll have to figure out. Perhaps AI will be the technology that allows us all to work less, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
That's the problem.
As long as our incomes are protected. I think we'd all like to work less if we could be sure our incomes are protected. Throughout history, people have said that a new technology will take away jobs, and we've always found that the reverse is the case.
My worry is
maybe this is the one time that'll be different, but I don't believe that.
They might not need Taoiseachs and news anchors. That's my worry about it.